Hi. So before I get into the demo, I just want to share why I am actually doing this. Most of the time, when people think about AI in testing, the immediate idea is like, okay, can it generate 10 test cases from a screen? Or can it automate 100 test cases which I have? And yes, if you ask PostCode to do that, it will do it. These models are extremely powerful. They understand patterns, data architecture, and they can produce whatever you request. But the real question is that how we should be using it? Because these LLMs can do much more. They are capable of deeper reasoning. They understand story context, documentation, risk, and they can help us improve the way we actually test, not just speeding up typing part. And that's the part I want to focus on today. When we think about testing with AI, we usually jump straight to automation or converting manual tests into scripts. But we can also use the same intelligence for the proper context driven testing, for reasoning, for identifying risks, for understanding workflows, for exploring the system the way experienced tester would do. Now, about workflows. Workflows are not magic testers or testing brains. They are simply a way to record how we want to approach something and then repeat that approach consistently. I have given introduction to workflows. I will include that in the description, the links to that particular videos. So basically it gives a structure. It puts the right control in place so the whole team benefits. It makes sure things are done the same way every time with the same level of discipline, even if it is a junior level tester or a senior tester. So workflows can control how we have to perform certain tasks. So in this video, I am going to walk through how I use postcode with these workflows. Not to teach the model how to test, but to guide it in a way that help us test better actually. Okay, so let's go into the demo. So here I have created a test charter workflow. I have a couple of stories which I need to do the testing. These are not real stories. For this demo, I have created these stories and tasks. So you can see this particular workflow actually takes an input, a story ID, and we can execute it from the chat. Give the workflow name. And so these are so when you create a workflow, these essentially become a part of the system and it can be accessed via the slash command. So here the input is a story ID. For example, I want to create test for maybe the story 81. So I will just take this, and this is the input for this workflow, as we can see over here. So let's see what it does. So it is using the MCP server to connect to Jira and get the details of the story. So now you can see that once it has got the details, it is going through the epic of that story to get more context of the story. And now you can see that it is going through the Confluence document, right, to get more context to the story. So it is going first, it has gone through the story itself, then its epic, then the Confluence documentation where it is trying to find any relevant documents are available so that it can build the context. Now, once it has done all the context gathering, it has also gone through the current workspace. So it has gone through everything and it has built a context. And now it is asking you a question. What is the experience level? What is my experience level with the project? So all these things I have defined over here. So when a story is given, what it should do. So it should gather the context. Then once it has gathered the context, it has to ask the question. Right? So I will say that I am an intermediate in this project. So why this is important. So these workflows are created not only for a single user, it is for the team. And so using workflows, you can define the process and it can help you in creating meaningful tests. So for example, if it is a junior level tester, he or she might have to go through more details to test that particular. They need to have more context on the story so that they can test it better, right? That is what we have done over here based on the context. Now it is doing all the analysis. And these are the chatters it is proposing. So these are the chatters which is required to be done by an intermediate level tester. So it is proposing these charters. We can go through that, and once we have an understanding of what actually needs to be done, we can actually say that okay, approve all the three charters, all these things. So all these things have been configured over here in the workflow. So all the time when you access this particular workflow, it works in the same way. So let's say we approve all the three charters. So next step is to create these charters in Jira as task. Okay, now we can see that it has completed the charter creation and also it has linked to that particular story. Let's see what actually it has created. So this particular story is to um, have different components in the front end, and these are the components which we are expecting. And let's see what actually it has created. So you can see the details in the charter. So we have specified that each charter will be executed like 40-minute sessions. So based on that, it has created these particular charters, three charters for testing this particular story. You can see all the details as well, what it has to do, what all details are required for this particular testing to be completed for this particular test charter. The mission is given, and what all things you want to do, what all are the ideas actually you would like to execute, the strategy you will follow in this particular test, what all are the risk assumptions, dependencies, all these details are there, and what will be a deliverable. And it has also added a comment. Similarly, we have other charters as well. So here the mission is different, and we have the next charter for app components and menu interactions. So it has created all these things because it has gone through all the documents available. We can, so currently I have linked it with the Jira and the Confluence, but you can think of other ways as well, other ways of integrating documents or context, how to give context to the agent actually. So once you provide all the details, it will have detailed charters ready for you to start testing, right? And if you see this charter, this particular workflow, it is using common rules. What actually this particular rules does. So if you see here, what is the best practices for test charter creation? All these details are part of rule. So rules are also, so how to create a rule, how to access rule, how rules have been accessed. All these things have been explained in a different video. I will link that video as well. And now we have seen like how a particular workflow can help. It can be used for your context driven testing as well. So this is one example. So another example will be like automation, right? So I have created another workflow. Let's see that. So here I have created a workflow which will act as a senior technical test architect with zero tolerance on pure automation candidates. So it will say something like if it will. So we have given it the instruction in such a way that it will see when a story is given for automation. It will see whether the story actually is it something which we need to add to the automation. Does it have any value on adding it into the automation suite, or what is the ROI of automating this? These are examples actually how you can create workflows, how you can use these workflows to do your testing and do a meaningful testing. So let's see this particular workflow in action. So for example, I will access this create automation charter. Let's give it something which is like a technical debt. So here there is nothing to be automated, but let's see what it says. So you can see like the automation request is being rejected, and it has gathered all the context required to provide us with a summary of what actually it thinks, way it thinks that it doesn't require to be automated. and it will give you the details of what is the appropriate testing approach. All these details, all these things we have mentioned over here, like what actually it has to reply with, what is the criteria. We can go through that. I can share this workflows as well if somebody wants that. It will be shared in a common location. You can access it soon. And now let's give it a meaningful thing to automate. Let's see what it does. Say for the one which we have created, test charters. This for the navigation components 81 ED 81. So it is getting all the context, required context and everything. So here you can see, like, we have just created the charters. So it is asking us to implement the um, actually execute the exploratory test charters, and based on that, after doing that, we can revisit automation. So based on the idea of context driven testing, more details will be provided as part of charter execution. We will add more comments, we will have more details, right? So once we have that details, if we come back and ask it to ask it whether it can automate that particular thing, it will consider it as a candidate for automation, right? So currently I don't have any automation suite or anything like that. That is also one of the reason. So basically this is to give you an idea of what actually we can achieve using postcode, the postcode workflows, how we can implement, how we can make use of postcode and postcode workflows in your day-to-day testing, day-to-day context-driven testing as well. Not only just to automate things or convert tests into automation or create hundreds of test cases, but do something meaningful as well, right? Um, so that's it from my side actually for today. The idea here is simple. These models are like very powerful, but the real value comes when we use that power in the right way. So not just to generate more stuffs, but to actually improve how we think about testing and how we approach our work. Hope this gave a different perspective. Thanks for watching.